Taxi! Taxi! Take me to the garden and hit the music.
Come on! Go New York, go New York, go! Go New York, go New York, go! Go New York, go New York, go! Go New York, go New York, I can't hear you! Go New York, go New York, go! Say what? Go New York, go New York, go! Hustling hard, we show no fear. No shortcuts, always prepared. Madison Square, New York, we're here. All 5 boroughs, the love is thorough. New York forever, against whoever. God in the pink, see the orange blue letters? Go against the Knicks, then you go against us. Now stand up and tell us where you're from. Come on! Say what? I can't hear you. What did I hear? Say what, y'all? What did I hear? It wasn't quite clear. Sounded good to my ear. Come on! The Knicks don't run from the grind, come see us. Slaying in the world most famous arena. Live from the wild best city in the world. Take the train to the game scene all around the world. The leaders of the pack, you can check the stats. You know where we from, tell them where we at. The magic is in the work. We are the center of the basketball universe. Come on! Ready, New York, come on! Go New York, go New York, go! Go New York, go New York, go! Go New York, go New York, go! Go New York, go! I can't hear you! Go New York, go New York, go! Go New York, go New York, go! Go New York, go New York, go! Say what? Go New York, go New York, go!
Yes. You can't even front. That's so dope. I don't know any other team that could have a intro like that other than the New York Knicks. Welcome to the show. I am the villain. I'm flanked by my guy Anthony. We're here talking some New York Knicks, man, mid-season. Anthony, what's going on, baby?
How are you, sir? Thanks for the invite.
Oh, I love it, man. I love having you on. Joe will be on soon. I'm sure he's having a little technical difficulties with his camera, but he's going to be on pretty soon. I know he's hyped. We're here talking some New York Knicks. It's been a crazy couple of months, but we made it to the All-Star break. Two-thirds of the season's in the books. We're on to the last third, 2 months left of the regular season, and then on to the playoffs. The New York Knicks are playing some good basketball. They had a little bit of a dry spell, but right now the 4th best record in the whole National Basketball Association, 36 wins, 18 losses. Currently the 3 seed if the season ended right now. There's a lot to be happy about. There's some things to be concerned about. You know, our text messages are always flying back and forth. We always, when it's good, it's good. Like we back up. And when it's bad, it's like, what the hell, man? Joe, no, because Joe's with me on that one too. Joe, what's going on, baby?
How you guys doing? Sorry about that little internet issues, but I'm back.
That's good. That's all good. We got you. We got Joe in the building. But yeah, it's been a crazy couple months. We made it to the All-Star break. Joe, how are you feeling right now? Just give me your overall impression, the first half, quote unquote, in the books for the New York Knicks.
I mean, I like the record. I'm feeling good. I think people are conflicted, which is making me feel conflicted sometimes. You know, you see a really great games. We beat really good teams, but then we have other teams like Boston that we can't seem to get past or get through or even come close to, looking like we're in the same arena that they are sometimes. It's hard to say. So I don't know. I feel like it's hot and cold, but primarily I'm positive about it. I'm really going to be feeling good when Mitchell Robinson comes back and I see how that dynamic works. I don't think Leon Rose did not make a move because he thought we were good. I think he didn't make a move because he thought we were going to be better. So I'm interested to see how that goes, but I'm positive. But the proof is going to be in the pudding once we see, how this team comes together in the second half of the season. But I'm feeling
Absolutely.
all right.
I'm feeling good too. Anthony, how are you feeling so far? I mean, what do you like? What's the positives that you're seeing from the New York Knickerbockers?
Well, I've been watching this team since 1994, and I have never seen such offensive efficiency as I see now. This is the best scoring Knicks team in my life. And I bet you if you went back and asked people who are 50 years old, 60 years old, even people who might have seen when they won their 2 championships, they might even tell you that this is the best Knicks offense that they've seen in their lives, perhaps. I mean, it's incredible just the offensive firepower on this team. I mean, you think about how much of a struggle it was to score just a couple of years ago. And now you're seeing them routinely score 130, 140. I mean, it's ridiculous. It goes to show just how far they've come. It goes to show just how much of an emphasis Leon Rose put on offensive firepower in the offseason with the moves that he made, the trades last season. He knows that in today's NBA, you've got to score in order to keep up with the big dogs. And so it's interesting because it's not the tradition of Tom Thibodeau style teams to just outscore everybody. But wow, I mean, just the firepower they have offensively is amazing to watch when they're all clicking. And when you have everybody healthy and on the floor at the same time. I can't wait for OG to come back. But conflicted, I think, Joe, you nailed it. That's a good word. I mean, defensively, don't really know quite what we are yet. They show flashes. Mikal Bridges shows flashes of good defense. Cat shows flashes of good defense. Obviously, Hart is going to give you 1,000% at all times, so there's no concern about that. But as a team, you don't always truly know what kind of defensive effort you're going to get that night. And we've seen a lot of lapses this year, letting teams back into games during blowouts, making it far too sweaty for my liking. I think I texted Barry one night when I forgot who they were playing. We held on to win, but we let them climb all the way back.
It was
the Hawks game. Yeah. And I think I said to Barry, I was like, these guys are clowns. Because I was so pissed off that we blew a 18-point lead, I think it was. And I know that's nothing in today's NBA, but you just don't see that from Tom Thibodeau teams. So conflicted is a good word.
I was going to say, Barry, can I just add to that real quick? Because I got two things. So I think, offensively crazy, right? But to give other teams credit, other teams are also putting up 140, 130. Yeah. I think it all has to do with the emphasis on the three ball. I mean, people are shooting threes in transition when people would take layups back in the 90s. I mean, they're taking the shot that statistically makes more points and gets you game winners, but is not the easier shot if you think about it. So I think that's also causing. But we have that firepower in order to do that 140 very, very, very easily without effort. Where it's crazy to me that there is such a struggle with effort and just execution is on that defensive end, like you said, because if anything, I thought it would be the opposite. I thought it would completely be the opposite. All those guys are defensive-minded guys. Our wings, Bridges, you got a Chuba comes off the bench. You got Hart, who's starting now. Like it's crazy to me that that's even a topic of conversation and a worry that's making me conflicted. Like that's what I'm nervous about. I didn't think one guy, Mitchell Robinson, was going to define the defensive identity of this team, given all the other defensive-minded starters on this team that were already defensive pros and known for their defense before they got to New York. So it's a little boggling to me. So that's all I just want to add that, Barry.
No, you're absolutely right, because I think the problem, we can highlight the defense, but the rebounding is an issue, and there's a lot of things that Mitchell Robinson can come in and clean up. But I mean, for me, the highs, obviously is the offense. Like if they're number 2 in efficiency per 100 possessions, right? You got 2 guys, the first pair of Knicks to be all-star starters since we go back to Earl the Pearl and Walt Clyde Frazier. You know what I mean? Like that's the firepower we thought we were going to get when the season was about to start, and we knew that a trade was coming. But to see it in action is a thing to behold, because Brunson, his scoring, he's ranking 9th in the league in scoring, 26 points a game. Cat is at 24, but his last 2 games, he's had 40 burgers putting up. Like it's really amazing when he gets going. And it took a little time for those two to kind of figure out how to work off each other. And now that they figured it out, it's a beauty to behold. So offensively, I have no issue with this team. They can score on anybody. I think Bridges, got off to a really rocky start. Everybody was questioning, why did you give up so many picks to bring him in? And all he does is knock down threes. Josh Hart, I can't say enough about Josh Hart, man. Like he fits, man. It's so rewarding to watch him play all facets of the game. 14 points a game, 9 rebounds a game, almost 6 assists, almost 2 steals a game. He's fifth in triple doubles. Like he fills the box score, and he adds that energy. He's that energy guy that we need. So like I said, the Knicks, in their last 11 games, 9-2, really, I think it was one of you guys that said it. I think Joe, you said it. They can't beat the teams that are ahead of them. And I think that's a problem too, right? So, I mean, we can go right into the lows. I'll kick it off for a minute, and I'll let you guys go in. Like, I think obviously the defense is a problem. I think health is a problem with depth. That's a problem. But the one thing that bothers me this year, to me, is the fact that they can't beat Boston. They don't look competitive against Boston. That's a big problem for me. Cleveland, they haven't beat Cleveland, and then they lost to the Thunder. I think it was at home, right? I think it was at home. But
Both.
The teams ahead of them that they will have to play, especially in the second round, if it stopped right now, they would be the 3 seed against Boston or Cleveland, because they're both tied 44-10. They haven't beat them. And I didn't think this year was going to be the year where we would get by them, but to beat them, man, you got to beat them, man, and they haven't proved that this year. So, Anthony, I mean, what are the lows that you've seen with this Knicks team? There hasn't been a lot of them, but to you guys' point, there has been some lows that we got to address.
Yeah, I think it's the unpredictability on defense. I think the potential is there. I too, like Joe, didn't realize just how much the absence of Mitchell Robinson was going to impact that defense. Yeah. Let's see, with him coming back soon, OG coming back soon, when they're finally whole, let's see if that low, if we no longer feel in a couple of months from now that it's a low. But as of right now, it's been a low for me, and they should have been able to weather that storm defensively a little bit better. It just, again, goes to show how much their offense has really thrived, because their record is great, even though the defense has been very inconsistent. I also worry a little bit about the free throw shooting. There's a lot of missed free throws. And when you get into April and May, I mean, these games are going to be nip and tuck. You got to make your free throws. And I can point to games in the past that the Knicks have lost by 5 points because they missed 5 free throws. That could sometimes mean all the difference when you get into these close playoff games and everybody, like Joe was saying, everybody's scoring 140, right? What's going to be the tipping point? What's going to be the thing that gets you the win, right? And oftentimes it comes down to free throw shooting. Knicks got to clean that up, man. I can't tell you how frustrated I've been with that part of it as well. So, yeah, you're right, Barry. Not many lows, and we're sitting here with a nice problem to have, and they could only get better from here. And we've seen a lot of lows as Knicks fans over the last 25 years. So we're a little nitpicking here, but yeah, definitely expected way more out of the defense. And I expected a little more fundamentally sound basketball than what we've seen. They just don't seem to bring it every single night. That's the thing they had last year. They brought it every single night. They had their hard hats on. Even when they lost, you knew they were never going to be outworked. That's been different this year. They've been outworked sometimes. And I don't know, maybe losing Ihart, maybe losing DiVincenzo just kind of changed the mentality of the team a little bit. Josh Hart hasn't changed, obviously, but there's just not quite that same lunch pail, hard hat mentality that the Knicks had the last couple of seasons. I hope that they can restore that here before the playoffs, because they're going to need it.
Yeah, because, I mean, you look at it last year, you're right. Like, they were never out of a game, not because of the offense, but because of the defense. The defense got them back into a lot of games, especially in the playoffs. And it's so crazy. The highs are pretty high and the lows are really low, right? Yeah. Like the defense, like 18th, I think, in the league in points per possession or efficiency or what have you. They're the low end on rebounding. There's a lot of things that, if they don't clean it up, they could see an early exit. I don't think there's an Eastern Conference. I don't think there's a 6-7 team that can beat them in a 5-game series, but you never know. Defense has got to show up. Joe, I mean, Joe, what do you think? What are the lows for you right now with this Knicks team? Not a lot of them, but they're there. They're glaring. They could be a problem come playoff time in April.
I mean, the number one thing is like, where is Mitchell Robinson? He's supposed to be here in December. Now he's supposed to be here in January. Now it's February 19th. And then I think I read an article last week because I read New York Post Knicks every day pretty much. And they were saying like the reason that he finally broke his silence, the reason that he's not coming back is because he wants to make sure he's 100% healthy so he doesn't have a setback. And that's great. But now I'm wondering, is that just what you're saying to get people off your back? Or are you going to be really healthy? Because I don't know, a couple ankle and foot fractures. I mean, it's no joke for a guy who's 7 feet tall and jumps pretty high. Right. So to me, that's a low right now that I hope becomes a high. But just to talk about what you were saying, I think the identity for defense. I think you hit it on the head. I'm starting to think about this, and let me know if you guys agree. Right, the identity last year for defense, it was Hart, still there, still doing what he's doing. Right, it was Mitchell Robinson, not there. Hopefully, he comes back. But Isaiah Hartenstein was a pretty big defensive energy guy and anchor that is gone. Like, and so think about it. Now you have two of those three guys not there anymore, right? And you brought in all these other guys who are defensive minded, who when they're on, they're on. Anunoby's been great. Mikal Bridges has been offense, hit or miss, defense. He stopped Trae Young the other night, in the Garden. But I mean, you have those two big anchors that are out there, big bodies in the middle. Like those other guys are wings. We're talking about stopping the ball in the paint. Those guys are not there. So I'm hoping Robinson comes back and it becomes a high. But I'm thinking that that's probably the biggest loss here is like those two guys not being there. Like mentality on defense is everything, man. Like most people can score. Most people in the NBA can score. You're not there if you can only just play defense. Maybe because Mitchell Robinson is exceptional, but most people can score. You know what I mean? So it's like you really need to have that defensive mentality or to play good defense. So that's a big low for me is the defensive side right now. Just because it shouldn't be that way. I was expecting way more. Right. That's why it's a big low. What else? I mean, getting beat by Trae Young in the Garden and getting knocked out of the play-in when they're rolling the dice on the logo. I mean, that was a low for the first half for me. I mean, they just win. You got to win to make them stop doing that. But like, I don't know, that shouldn't even happen. Like I hate that
guy, man.
He's the biggest Garden villain right now.
He's a pest.
So,
He's a pest.
He is a pest. So I mean, those are two lows for me right now. I think we just gotta do what we're supposed to do. Do what they were paid to do what they expect them to do. The rest is okay. We're not doing what we were expected to do right now. That's why I'm a little annoyed. So.
Yeah, I mean, I want to double click on that because we said it when we opened up the season. The three of us were here on that show. We said losing Hartenstein was a big loss. And we knew it was going to be a big loss, but we didn't know how significant it was going to be. And now you see it, right, Anthony? Like him and Hart were the glue guys, Hart and Hartenstein. They were the glue guys on defense. When you have two anchors like that, one on the perimeter and one on the inside, it makes a really big difference. And Cat, he's been a willing defender at the 5, but he's not a 5. He wants to play the 4, and he doesn't. You could see it last year when he was in Minnesota, playing the 4 alongside a real 5. When Gobert, you saw that defense. I think they were 6th in the league in defense in Minnesota. So it makes a difference, and I'll roll into the deadline moves that we made, but I want to give you a chance to to double click on what Joe talked about with losing Hartenstein and how that's affected this team in the first half.
That's such a great point, Barry. And Cat has handled it as beautifully as you could probably expect, but the fact of the matter remains, he is being asked to stretch beyond his comfort zone a little bit, to your point.
Right.
He really wants to play that 4, and the Knicks are asking him to play that 5 and be that staunch tower underneath the basket. Hopefully, though, once Mitchell Robinson comes back, that allows Cat to kind of slip back into a more traditional, comfortable role for him. And now you've got more of a defensive glue in the paint now with those two when they're on the floor at the same time. So that's why I think we might have underestimated what the absence of Mitchell Robinson was going to mean for the defense as a whole, but especially for someone like Karl Anthony Towns, who's now being asked to man the middle, which is a little bit out of his comfort zone and not what he's done much of in his career. He's handled it well. He's adapted well. I have no questions about his work ethic, his ability to block out the noise and handle New York. I think he's a great fit. I still think we won that trade. I think that debate is over. We absolutely won that trade. We did what we had to do there. But yes, having Mitchell Robinson back will allow Cat to slip back into a role he's more comfortable filling on the defensive.
I mean, Joe and I, we have meetings once a week. Well, twice a week. But on Tuesdays, that's when we talk our shit, right?
Yeah.
And every time the one thing that comes up is Barry, that depth, man. He's running those guys into the ground, man. And it's hard to escape it. And I tried to justify it to Joe, and Joe gives me a dirty look every time. I'm like, who is he gonna play? Who's he going to play, right? But Mikal Bridges and Josh Hart are literally at the top of minutes played so far this season.
Yep.
Anunoby was in the top 25. Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns are in the top 25. I mean, there's getting Anunoby back, right? And then getting Robinson back, because that's basically what Leon Rose is banking on as his trade deadline move, is getting Mitchell Robinson back. It gives him another lineup, right? And then it gives him a piece of depth that they don't have, because they really don't have a five, right? But are you guys, Joe, I'll turn to you because we talk about it all the time. Are you concerned about the lack of depth in the minutes that these guys are logging with 2 months to go and hopefully a 2-3 month playoff run?
100%. I think, the deadline move in Leon Rose's mind was, why would I trade Mitchell Robinson? He's that good when he plays, right?
Mm-hmm.
If he plays and when he plays, the big question, right? So I give up. That contract is very doable for them, right? Because I think it's 1 or 2 more years. It's kind of a bargain. So he's like, well, I'm going to give this away when the potential to keep it, and if he does really well, is there to him. I think, and I agree, it's a risk, right? It's a risk for this season. But I think he did it because that core group still has a couple more seasons together before he has to worry about contracts. So I think he's rolling the dice and saying, this is a risk for now, but it will, maybe if it pays off, I still got a couple more years of this core, right? So I am worried for the rest of the season. He's got to ramp up. I mean, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know. They say he's doing contact drills. I don't know what that looks like. They're very hush about that, right? So he's got to come back. Then he's got to play the minutes. Then he's got to gel alongside, Cat. Cat's got to move back to the 4. You got to see how that looks, right? Then you got to see, like, how much time is it going to take them all to get together. Then what are you going to do? You're going to put Precious Achiuwa as the backup 5? Is he going to be the backup 4? What is he going to play? He's going to play both, depending on who needs the rest? Because right now he's playing both at some point.
He's playing the 5, right?
Playing the 5, yeah. Right? So I don't know.
First big off the bench. First big.
There's no more Sims. Sims is gone, right? So you have Huck Porty and who else? Who's the other guy? That's it.
I can't remember the guy, right? I can't remember his name.
It's Huck Porty. That's as far as I remember, right?
Yeah.
That's it. And I mean, I don't know. So yeah, I'm worried. I'm worried of the minutes played, and the potential health issues. I mean, Anunoby's already down with a foot sprain. Thank God it's only that, man. I mean, thank God. Those non-contact injuries usually are worse than they
Anthony Davis.
So, we'll see, man. I am nervous though, because some of the bench is playing great. Like you got Payne, right? Cam Payne has been playing.
He's been a great pickup,
right? I didn't expect him to play that great. He came out scoring 8 points in like 10 minutes. I mean, that's pretty damn good. So I'm concerned. But we'll see, right? We'll see. We got a long road. Just hopefully the road is not bumpy like last season.
Yeah, I mean, because McBride is doing his part. Like, we didn't know. First of all, we thought he was going to have to get traded. They ended up keeping him, which I love, and he's played well off the bench, right? And so, he's playing well. Cam Payne has been a really steady point guard behind Jalen Brunson, giving you good minutes off the bench. Precious is who we thought he is. He's an energy guy that plays really good defense. But like I said, the depth is going to be a problem. It's going to be tested. You're absolutely right, Joe. It's going to take a month for for Mitchell Robinson to get ramped up. I don't see him playing more than 15, 20 minutes the first week or two, right? And then you slowly ramp him up. But Anthony, I mean, will the depth be the undoing of the Knicks?
If there was any undoing, it would be that. Yeah. I mean, how can you not be concerned by the lack of depth? And it's almost like they built the team with, willing to sacrifice that, if you will, because Tom Thibodeau has never been a guy to dig deep into his bench anyway. So when Leon Rose made the moves he made and constructed the team the way he did, he had that in mind, knowing that these bench guys aren't going to see much time anyway under a Tom Thibodeau-led team. I would just say, though, just to kind of temper the concern a little bit, I mean, if you look around the league, is anybody's bench really lighting things up? Like, can you look at any team, even the Celtics, right? I mean, as championship caliber as they are, when Tatum's not in the game and Brown's not in the game and Porzingis is not in the game and Horford's not in the game, who's backing those guys up? Can we name them? I mean, are they household names? I can't think of it. So Holiday, okay,
Yeah, he's on the back nine though.
And he was the spark plug for them. And he was the spark plug for them last year, Drew Holiday was. No doubt about it. He changed their defense when he showed up on the scene. But I would just say, we want a good bench. But, I mean, you look around the league and you look even historically, teams have never really had great benches. Teams have always felt a significant drop-off when they've taken their starters out of the game. So that's all I would say about that. So if we lose in the spring, which is very possible, it's not going to be because some team's bench outplayed ours, most likely. It's going to be because their starters outplayed our starters. Now, if our starters aren't available, then we could look back and say they played too many minutes, they wore down. And you could say that might have been true in the Pacers series last year. We kind of wore down and the Pacers took advantage of that. We'll see if that happens again. But yeah, it's right to be concerned.
I mean, because it was the concern we had coming into the season. Like, we knew there was going to be a lack of depth. Because they traded so much to get Bridges and to get Cat. Like, Cat was not the final straw, but that was the move that they made that really hampered their depth because DiVincenzo, to your point, they already lost Hartenstein because they couldn't re-sign him to that contract. He got a nice deal for himself. And then they lost DiVincenzo on the back end, which hurt. And I hated that move, but it is what it is, right? Do you guys, I mean, I'll kick it to anyone who wants to answer it. Like, are you surprised that Leon Rose chose not to make a move at the deadline? I don't know what was out there that he could have really made a move for depth pieces, but the only move he made was shipping off Jericho Sims. Like, are you surprised that he didn't get, like, I don't know what you needed. They needed a big, right? They needed another, 4 or 5 guy. Are you surprised that they didn't do that, Joe?
Yes. Only because I heard names like Walker Kessler, and I was like, all right, I'll take Walker Kessler any day. Yeah. It's like 7 feet, third, averaging the third most blocks in the league right now. It's a great Mitchell Robinson replacement. He's young, does not have injuries. I would have done that, right? Because I just feel like I'm going to say right now, Mitchell Robinson, unfortunately, is going to get hurt again. I'm just going to throw it out there. If I was a betting man,
put that energy out.
I'm just being real, right? He's gonna get hurt again. It's his MO. Like, unfortunately, he's gonna get hurt again. So, like, but when? Like, let's just hope it's not hope it's in the game 7 of the finals in the last minute. I don't know, but I'm just saying he's probably going to get hurt again. He's not durable. So it's a big risk. So I wanted to see something. I want to see more stability, right? Because right now we're not very stable. We were talking about it. We're stable on some games, then we're not stable. The defense is all over the place. Like, to your point, Ant, like, we're going to lose because the starters have to play the minutes because the defense is going to allow so many points that we have to put the stars back in to get even more points. Like, we needed to do something. I just hope that it pays off. I'm not a GM, so maybe there's something I don't know, but like, it just seems like a big risk. So I think we should have done something because what do? We just got rid of somebody. We didn't get any. We could have got one person. The waiver wire, people who were bought out of their contracts. We did nothing. Yeah. So I don't know. I question it, but maybe there's something I don't know.
Because the
agree. I was
Clippers,
surprised.
got somebody, right, guys? Didn't they get
Markel
somebody off the
Fultz. And they get
yeah.
Fultz, right?
Yeah,
Good
somebody came off the waiver wire that was got the buyout wing player that they could have used. I don't remember who it was, but yeah, I kind of I agree with you, and I look at it too like there's this year isn't the year to make that move. Like I feel like the offseason is where you add to this team, right? That's what I felt. I feel like they have to kind of roll the dice on the team as is. They just really kind of handcuffed. But then once the cap goes up, you get a little bit of flexibility. Then you can make that move. But Anthony, we were talking about it too. I think up until the deadline, and you were kind of like poking the Knicks, like do something, do something.
Yeah.
Like what are you surprised they didn't make a move?
No, I'm not surprised. Well, I take that back. Yes, I was surprised. I thought they might want to fortify things in some way, but the way you framed it, Barry, I think is the way they're looking at it. We're not championship caliber yet, I think is their feeling. And they're not. I mean, when you can't beat the Celtics, when you can't even compete with the Celtics, you're not a championship team. We're a really good team, but that's it right now. We're not championship yet. And so I think Leon Rose has always been realistic about where his team is. And I think he's looking at the team right now and he's saying that same thing. We're really, really good. We're better offensively than we were last year. Probably not as good defensively. We're not championship caliber yet. I'm not going to spring to give up a lot because I'm comfortable seeing what we have if I'm Leon Rose. And we also don't know what these other teams were asking for. Like if they want Miles McBride, which I know his name's been floated around a lot, teams really seem to like him. That's a non-starter right there. That's not going to make any deal happen because the Knicks
At this point, right? At this point, you can't do it.
And he's under a team-friendly contract, and he's really started to blossom. We're really starting to see him for the star that he could be. And there's no way they would part with someone like that. And that's probably who most teams are asking for. So
because we traded a lot of picks, right, Anthony?
We did.
We traded picks to get.
Which I'm okay with that too. You know, I mean, especially in the NBA, I feel like in the NBA, the draft picks mean so little unless you have a lottery pick. Very
or
rarely
unprotected.
Or unprotected. Yeah. I was okay with giving up all those picks for Bridges. I know people were saying, how can you give up that many picks? Well, sometimes we haven't even used all our picks. We've skipped the chance to use them. So, we draft pick hoarded for so many years. What good did it really do us? I love that we now have a GM who's willing to part with those picks for the right deal, and especially in the NBA where those lower level draft picks are not as important. So,
and let's be real. The Knicks don't draft very well.
Right?
They really don't.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Pat
We could have
Ewing
Donovan Mitchell.
was our last.
We could have Donovan Mitchell, man.
Yeah, we could have had him in house. Like, you know what I mean? Like, look at the first. Okay, pause. I don't want to look at the first round picks that we've had, right? I don't want to go down memory lane. I'm in a good mood. It's orange and blue skies here, right?
That's right.
I want to keep the good vibes going, right? But like, let's be real. Like, we haven't hit on a lot of the draft picks, and the ones that did hit on other teams, right? Porzingis. So, I think one of the few picks that we had that we actually got right were McBride and Mitchell Robinson. You know what I mean? So I agree. Like, I'm glad that we're using the picks in the right way. I think we stockpiled those picks. We waited, and then Leon pushed the chips in to get where we are right now. But I think we're a year away. And to your point, I think Joe mentions it. This core is together as is contract-wise for the next 3 years. So it's not all or nothing this year, thank God. But they're building to that. They're building towards that where we can start to really make some moves and really get to the conference and hopefully the NBA Finals. So it's going to be interesting. I don't know if you guys had anything to add on that, but to me, I agree. I really feel like I was waiting for them to make a move, but I'm glad they didn't go crazy because it just – you would have had to give up a lot to get Kessler. We know that. And because the Jazz were just, they were valuing him like he was Rudy Gobert. It's insane. And pause. Rudy Gobert's, but I mean, you know what I mean? Like they were gonna, hey, I want 5 first-round picks and, I want your women and children. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be crazy. Like we're not doing that move. So, I'm glad they kind of stay pat. And like we said, they're going to be addition by getting these guys back after the All-Star break. So Anunoby, thank God it's not a serious injury. He'll be back. Those are two pieces that we'll get back right away. That adds to some depth that we've kind of been lacking for the last few games. Anunoby is such an important piece because we're about our win percentage is like 75% when he's in the lineup since we traded for him.
Crazy.
And it's a crazy stat. And right now they are 4-1 since he went down. But you don't want to play that game too long. He's very important because he's not a glue guy. He fits the team so well. Yeah. And we said that when they made that trade for him, he fits so much better than RJ Barrett, who I still love. I love RJ Barrett.
I love RJ,
yeah. But he fits, OG fits so much better than RJ. It's hard to not have him for extended periods. And when we don't have him, we don't win very much. So getting him back is going to be really big for us. I don't know.
And when you think of a middle of Mitchell Robinson, OG, and Cat manning the middle like that, that's a hell of a front court defense that you got there. So I can't wait to see the effect of having those three guys together, which we have not yet seen. I think it's going to make each of them better. Having Mitchell there is going to make Cat better. We talked about that earlier. But it's also going to make OG better. Because even when OG was healthy and he was in the games, they still struggled defensively a little bit at times. And I think that goes back to not having Mitchell Robinson there to anchor things. Right. So having the three of them out there playing defense, that's when we're really going to be able to evaluate how they are defensively this year.
If Robinson starts, who goes to the bench?
Hart? I was just gonna ask that. Hart. What do you guys think about that? It's gonna be hard.
It's
gonna be hard,
right?
But he'll be okay with. He's fine as a sixth player. I mean, I'm fine with him in that role. He's comfortable in that role.
Makes our bench stronger.
Makes our bench stronger. Yes. So, yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely sign up for that. I would put OG at the 2, Bridges at the 3, Cat, and then Robinson. It's a long, lengthy lineup, and it covers up that Brunson can get bullied off the pick and roll and get pushed around. Now you could do the pick and roll and switch if you want to. Now you're going to have a lengthy, like Robinson out there. You can have Cat. You can have Mitch Bridges. Like it's going to be a pick your poison thing. So I think you're right. And I think it's really about the minutes, how he's going to distribute. Tibbs is going to distribute the minutes and get those guys, whoever's hot or whoever's playing well down the stretch. He is not afraid to keep them in the game. I've seen McBride finish games. It doesn't matter. Whoever is hot, he's going to go with the hot hand. So I'll be definitely curious about that. But, looking at, the second half of the season after the abysmal All-Star game, which I had a lengthy argument on our Tuesday show with Sirius. I mean, I'm unapologetically not a LeBron fan, and I blame him for everything that's happened in the All-Star game and everything in the festivities. But listen, it was brutal. I don't even know if you guys want to speak on it, but it's not worth my time. But coming out of that,
let's put it that way. It was not basketball.
There was a basketball on the court. It wasn't like a game.
It was supposed to be competitive. I don't think it was any more competitive than it was in years prior. People were just, I don't know. It was what was competitive? The Rising Stars when they were playing against what was it? Yeah. The OGs, right?
The OGs,
they were better than the OGs were.
Yeah, yes. Exactly.
Yeah,
I don't know. You were saying it? Yeah, give him hell, right? It's bad. Like Adam Silver has a problem. He better fix it. But in my mind right now, the second half, the Knicks, they have the second hardest schedule. I think the Bucks have the toughest schedule remaining, at least in the East. The Bucks are like they're the team's winning percentage that they're going against is 524. The Knicks are 519. So they're going to be, it's a tough schedule. 28 games. They got to play the Cavs, I think 3 times. They have to play the Celtics 2 more times, who at this point they do not want to see in a matchup, right? And then it's just some tough games that they got to navigate through to remain at that 5 seed. Now, like if I look at the schedule, not the schedule, the conference so far, I wouldn't say firmly entrenched in that 3, but they're 5.5 games up on the Pacers. So, it's a good chance that they'll probably remain at the 3. I hope so. I don't want to see the Pacers, but I mean, I can't stand that. I can't stand Halliburton.
I agree.
Yeah, I just that team, they bother the hell out of me. But I mean, Joe T, talk to me about the second half. 28 games left. Some, like I said, toughest. They got one of the tougher schedules in the league. They just what do they got to do to just come out of this clean as they head into the playoffs?
I mean, they got a lot to do, man, especially if you're going to start integrating some guys back into your starting lineup. You got to figure that out. You got to figure out who's going to the bench like we just talked about. I mean, that's a tall order in 28 games, man. I mean, just figuring that out. I mean, that to me, like the offseason, we're talking about this, that's when teams come together and gel. Now you're asking a team that's been playing record-wise pretty well, right, in terms of a record. Maybe not the best. Maybe those wins and losses weren't against the best teams. I mean, they should have won places where they didn't, et cetera. But now you're like, hey, I'm going to throw you back in. And, hey, you're going to go to the bench. And then these people got to figure that out. So, like, the identity kind of shifts a little bit again, right? You had your identity now. Now you're asking people to switch their identity. I don't know. I mean, I think they could do it. I mean, Tibbs is not a dumb coach by any stretch of the imagination. I think he knows what to do to motivate his guys. But I think it's going to be a tall order. But I think it's doable. But we'll see.
Anthony, can they make a move on the 2 seed, or you think they're firmly entrenched on the 3?
I think they'll stay on the 3, and I'm thinking, let's go 500. If we go 500, we won't go down. We may not go up, but we won't move down. We'll be firmly ensconced in that 3rd spot, and maybe get a win or 2 from Cleveland, because I know we've already lost to them. Maybe we're able to steal a win from Boston and start to feel a little bit better about that matchup. Still don't think we could beat them 4 times. But, if we can get one of these last 2 from the Celtics and at least one of these last 2 from the Cavs, or I think you said they played them 3 times.
3 times.
Try to get 2 of those games. Then that would even the season series with Cleveland at 2-2. And just finish 500 overall and get Mitchell Robinson integrated back into things and get everybody playing together and used to each other by the time April comes and feeling good. Then I think this second half of the season, if you will, is going to be a success if we can do that. Just by staying at 500, getting everybody integrated in, and feeling ready to go for the playoffs. It is a tall order, but I think this team can do it, right? I mean, they're above 500, well above 500 now. Like you said, they're 4-1 since OG got hurt, which we're a little surprised by. We didn't think they'd be 4-1 after he got hurt. So, they've been able to play well above 500 to this point. Now we're asking them to just be at 500 or slightly above it for the rest. I think that's very doable based on what they've done so far.
Yeah, I think split or win the month, right? Like 1 or 2 games above 500 and you're fine, right? And splitting 14-14 will get you 50 wins. Joe, what's our magic number to win the bet, right? I think it's 50 wins.
No, I think it's whoever has the better record, man. I think we're good, man. That bet's over. That bet's over, man.
We're good. We're going to Morton Steakhouse, man.
Yeah, that bet's over, man. We won that.
Yeah, funny how that never comes up in conversation. Our bet. We got a bet. We talked about it. Philadelphia 76ers and Knicks. Who's got the better record?
I mean, not close at this
point.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I mean, I agree with you guys. I think, the second half, let's just play good basketball. I think the key is, to your point, Anthony, is showing against the good teams. Like, we got to show against the Cavs. We got to show against the Celtics because they're not going away. We're not good enough to leapfrog them to get to the 1 seed. We're going to have to face them both, God willing, to get to the big show. We got to show against them. I think we can play against Cleveland. We don't defend. The problem with the Knicks is defensively, we don't rebound very well, and we don't defend the 3. And then when we face the Celtics, we forget that there's a 3-point line that we have to defend.
Oh my God.
And that's all the Celtics want to do is shoot threes. They shoot them
absolutely
more than anybody by far.
And they don't miss. They don't miss when they play us.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, I'm literally texting you, like, here, another 3. They don't miss. And another 3. They don't miss. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, my fingers were going numb, like, how many threes they were making, and I had to talk about it. So I agree with you guys. Like, I think the name of the game is let's start to clean up the defense. Let's show against the good teams, integrate Anunoby slowly, integrate Mitchell Robinson slowly, and get these guys ready for the playoff push that's really coming, right? Anthony, I mean, we're pretty much a lock for the playoffs, depending on where we seed, however, it's going to fall out. What is the playoff ceiling for this Knicks team right now? And what's the floor?
Well, I think the ceiling is making it to the Eastern Conference Finals is the ceiling. I don't see us getting past, assuming we play Boston, unless somebody can knock them off early for us. If we play Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals, I think we're cooked. I would really expect this team, based on the moves they made, the fact that we fell short last season in the second round, I'm really hoping that's the ceiling, is that we get out of the second round this year. I want us in the Eastern Conference Finals. Whatever happens after that is gravy, but I want us in the Eastern Conference Finals. I want us to, because the last 2 years we've made it out of the first round and gotten knocked out of the second round. We've got to slay that dragon next. We got to get out of the second round and into the finals. Obviously, the floor would be losing in the first round, which would just be such a bad look if that happens, losing in the first round. But yeah.
I mean, if it stopped right, if the season ended right now, we'd have to face a Piston team that we haven't looked particularly good.
We lost to them twice. I know. I was going to mention that too in my lows. That still bothers me. We lost to that team twice on our floor. Doesn't make sense.
Cunningham's good though. Cunningham is good.
He's really good. Yeah, but I mean, you look at their record and they're a 500 team, and they beat us twice on our floor, and I just don't get that.
But it's a good lesson to say that we can't take the first round lightly, because a team like the Pistons really has nothing to lose. They've overachieved everything that they could possibly do. Now they have a second half like everybody else, but I think we expected them to improve, but we didn't expect them to improve to this level where they are not a play-in team. Like, I thought they would sneak into and be a play-in team. They're a solid team. They're getting better. So I agree with you with your highs and lows. Joe, what do you think is our ceiling, and what's the floor for this Knicks team if we win, we make it to the playoffs?
I mean, I'm going to have to agree with Anthony on this. I think he hit it right on the money. Like, we got to get out of the first round. If we're not, it's like the season would be like really bad. Failing for a season. Got to get out into the Eastern Conference Finals. I'd be happy with the Eastern Conference Finals. If we made it there and we show up, not we make it there and we lose and get swept. Like, we make it there and we show up. I'd be happy. If we make it there and we get swept, then it's basically we just got out of the second round. That's it. You know what I mean? Like, you got to show up. So I agree with Anthony. I think that's a good overall assessment. I think that's what I'd like to see happen. I'm going to be realistic. I don't think we're making it to the finals at all. I mean, unless a miracle happens, but I don't think so. But I think Eastern Conference Finals is where it's going to be. I mean, we have some stiff competition, but I think it's doable, man. Mitchell Robinson could be the difference maker. I really do think that if he's healthy, he could be the difference maker, man. So
who would you think is the better matchup for the Knicks if they make it out of the first round and the second round? Is it Boston or Cleveland?
You know what? I would want to say Cleveland, but I don't know. We played them that one time, right? And I feel like we beat them good when we had Randall, right? But now you got Mobley and Jared Allen. Everyone's gelling on that team, man. They're hot right now. Yeah. So it's not like it's Cleveland from last year. It's like a different Cleveland. So now I'm a little nervous that those two bigs are playing like really, really well. It's not the same. So I don't know. It's like pick your poison. You know what I mean? Yeah. I know what Boston has done to us. Look at the first game of the season. How many threes did they hit? Broke a record.
They're still hitting threes from that game.
I think I'd rather see them play Cleveland, to be honest with you. I think we have a better chance given how, we don't defend the three, to Anthony's point. So I'd rather have them, but makes me nervous. Not the same Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean, they started off so hot and they've come down a little bit. to where, their 10-loss team. I mean, wow, but I mean, they've come to earth a little bit. So I don't know if Boston can leapfrog them. They got 5.5. They're 5.5 games back, 6 in the loss column. But I think if any team could beat them, it would be Boston. Anthony, I mean, who's the team you definitely don't want to see in the second round?
Oh, for me, I'd much rather see Cleveland because if you recall the one time we played Cleveland, we had an 18-point lead or something against them, and we blew that lead.
Yeah.
So we were in a position to win that game, and then they just got caught fire in the second half. And I just also don't think that Cleveland has the championship DNA that the Celtics have. You look at the Celtics, you look at Jaylen Brown, you look at Jason Tatum. These guys are champions, man. These guys are winners. They show up when it matters most. I don't know if I'm ready to say that about anyone on Cleveland yet. They got a lot of talent, but they haven't proven to me that they've got that championship DNA that the Celtics have. So for me, and especially since we've had success against Cleveland in the playoffs before, I would so much rather see Cleveland, despite them having the best record. It's not close for me. The Celtics scare the hell out of me. We don't even compete against them. They're at a whole nother planet. I think we can compete with Cleveland, especially with Mitchell Robinson back in the fold.
Yeah, Cleveland's like, they give up almost 112 points a game. The Knicks gave up 112 too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think the defense for Boston's a little bit better than the defense for Cleveland. So I'll give you that. Garland and Mitchell Robinson, not Mitchell, I mean, Donovan Mitchell, sorry. Though I don't know about that perimeter defense with those two, right? So it's
the playoffs are different. The playoffs are different. You can go 44-10 in the regular season. We know that the playoffs don't phase the Celtics. We don't know how it's going to affect the Cavs. And history shows that it doesn't affect them well. So
the reason I'm worried about Cleveland is just the bigs are playing great, man. I mean, Evan Mobley is like playing really well. You can't sleep on Jared Allen. Like they just they're you know what it is? They've had time together. Our bigs have not had time together. So now you're asking Mitchell Robinson and Cat to figure it out. And hey, also throw them at these two guys who've been playing with each other for a while. So that's why it scares me, because I feel like that part of the game is where we're struggling right now. But now you're asking us to surpass people who are better in that right now. So I'm just a little nervous about that. But like I said, pick your poison, because Boston's going to shoot lights out. So I don't know.
Yeah. If they miss shots, when they miss threes, they're a very beatable team. Boston, right? So, but that's like everybody in the league. So pick your poison, to your point. I mean, I agree with you guys. I think the ceiling is the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't expect them to make the finals this year. I didn't when we talked about it when the season started, Joe. We talked about it. I love the moves, but I was like, they're a year away. So I think, to your point, Anthony, I think it's I don't expect them to get out of the second round, but I think they can get out of the second round because they have the talent to do it. Can they play up to the Celtics, and can they play up to the Cavs? If they can definitely get out of that second round. It's a tall order, 4 games against one of those teams in the second round, but hey, we got Cat, we got Brunson. Brunson not exposed, but it was that he had to take a lot of the offensive burden in that Pacer series last year. Now he doesn't have to do that. He's got Bridges, he's got Cat. So it's now, is he willing to share that load, move the ball, and not force shots that he thinks he has to take? Can you use your teammates and make everybody better? I think his assist numbers are up this year versus last year. It's going to be important for his assist numbers to stay consistent, especially in a second round matchup against these two teams. But yeah, I would be absolutely shocked if they lost in the first round. I would be pissed if they lost in the first round, because there's too much talent on this team not to make it to the second round. So listen, for me, I might go 5 games though.
It might go all 5. It could.
I know. It's like 7 games. 7 games.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, but I don't want that. I don't want to sweat out a 7-game series, Anthony. I don't want to do it. And Just don't disappoint me. Don't piss me off. Right? Just do what you're supposed to do. Show up and advance. Survive and advance. Right? But I mean,
and it's going to be important that we make quick work of that first round too, because if we are worried about minutes and loads, we got to get out of that first round easy so that because if we don't, if that does go a full 7, we're going to be cooked for the second.
No rest. Yeah.
No rest. No, and you're already playing with your depth card. So I definitely agree with you. That's a great point. So I just take care of business. I don't want to look past these teams. Atlanta can give us problems. As much as I hate them, they can give us problems.
I don't want to see Atlanta.
I don't want to see Atlanta.
I don't want Trae Young to do anything.
They're a tough matchup for us.
They are.
Atlanta.
They don't scare me, but they scare me. They worry me because they can make it very difficult for the Knicks, right? Trae Young can catch fire, and God knows. The Magic aren't the Magic from last year, but they've shown that they can play. They can play some good basketball, especially at home, right? It's just I don't want to see those teams, if I don't have to. The Bucks could be dangerous, because they got Giannis in the 7-game series. There's a lot of possibilities, but the matchup. But listen, I fully expect to get out of the first round. Let's take our chances in the second round. And if it was so much fun last year. I wanted it so bad to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. We were almost tasted it. We fell apart because of injuries. I would love to see that this year. So I don't know. It's so funny because it's like this is the best Knicks team that we've seen in a while. And like we said, the highs are so high and the lows are so low so far. It's like I can't get mad either way. If we, I'll be mad if we don't make it out of the first round. But good things are coming for this Knicks team. And it's been a while since we've had the chance to say that. So I don't know. You guys had anything to add on this? I mean, it's just good feeling. It really is orange and blue skies, even though it's freezing outside and it's cold and
It's just so amazing that to have expectations again. I don't think everybody fully appreciates just how bad the last 25 years have been, and how there were zero expectation. I mean, if they won 30 games, that was a success. It was like, wow, they won 30 games. Now we're talking about them winning 50 games and going to the Eastern Conference Finals. So the weight of those expectations makes us excited and nervous at the same time. It's like we don't know what to do with ourselves. We're not used to this. We're still trying to get used to this.
Yeah, absolutely. Joe, what you got?
So to Anthony's point, like how bad it was, I'm trying to find this meme that I saw on Facebook, but it was like, I sent it to my friend who's a huge Knicks fan, and it was like the starting lineup for the Knicks, and it was like it was early 2000s.
Oh,
right?
no, I know what you're talking about.
These people. And it was like Langston Galloway, right?
Yeah, God.
He was
Prigioni.
Yeah, it was him. It was Lou Amundsen, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Amundsen. It was all these guys I forgot that literally probably would play for the Westchester Knicks if they were in the league right now. You know what I mean? So we have come a long way. I'm excited, but I have a hypothetical question for you guys. Right?
Yeah, go for it.
In our lifetime, we saw the Knicks go from the first eighth seed all the way to the finals, right? I forget what it was. Oh, was that 99? I forget.
99,
right? Do you think we have any shot in hell to be like that 99 team and make it there, given what we have right now? Do you think?
Yes, I think so.
Given the competition. There it is.
There it is.
Oh, my God. That's terrible.
There it is. Lance Thomas. Lou Amundsen, Bargnani. Oh, my God. What a bust.
We don't say his name around here. We don't say his name. But, no, what's funny is, yes, I think we can make a special run because we can score on anybody. Like, offensively, we can put up the numbers. It's going to be in crunch time, the last 6 minutes. Can we get a stop? Mm-hmm. Can Mitchell Robinson stay out of foul trouble to be on the court to get a stop?
And
that's going to be those little little keys, those little details of the game that are really gonna, and it comes down to that one game, like that game 2 to even the series, or that swing game, that fifth game to get the advantage, to get to the third game, to get to the clinching game, right? Like those little details. But like that 99 team was so much fun to watch, and I knew they had no shot against the Spurs, but I believed Spree, LG, Larry Johnson, Camby. I mean, Houston, Childs. Like it was just like you felt like we might be able to do this. Like we're shorthanded, but we might be able to do this. And yeah, I would kill for that. I think they can make that kind of run. They have the talent to do it. I mean, Anthony, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. And that 99 team, just to go back to them for a second, they were not big size-wise.
No.
That was the problem with that team.
Camby was the biggest guy.
Camby was their biggest guy. So
Ewing got hurt early in the first round, hurt. Right?
Right. So and then they still beat Alonzo Mourning, and so they just they were, not to sound cliche, but they had a lot of heart. That team was just tough, and they put their hard hats on. This team can do that too, especially with the Josh Hart effect and Mitchell Robinson and OG Anunoby. They just got to be healthy and ready to go and comfortable with one another. And if that's the case, they can emulate that style. They're not as talented as the Celtics, but the 99 team wasn't as talented as those teams that they went through. And then they just couldn't match up with the Spurs size at that point. But, they can absolutely do that again if they bring that same mentality and that same chemistry together.
Get me to the Eastern Conference Finals, and I'll roll the dice, right, Joe? Like, get me to the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, that's it. Like Anthony said, just get me there. I'm happy. We win. We got to be competitive, though. I don't want to get swept. We get swept, it's like we just won the second round.
Might as well not go. Yeah,
might as well not go. Exactly.
Yeah, and I don't want a gentleman's sweep. Like, I don't want to go down 3-0, get one game, and then lose the fifth. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
you want to show up.
Show up. Show up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me a good 6-game series. I'll be happy. So. Yeah. It's been fun. I couldn't wait to do this show with you guys. I was like, dude, when are we gonna do it? When are we gonna do it? And we finally got the day. We get the season started back again tomorrow against the Chicago Bulls. And then away we go off to April, the playoffs. That when the season really gets going for a lot of people. Guys, I really appreciate you guys hopping on and doing the show. I love doing the show with you guys. We'll have to do one once the season's over, right in between the first round. Talking a little playoff, recapping the season, all that good stuff, and hopefully we'll have a nice long break, and then we'll do a whole season wrap up. Because they love it out here. They love orange and blue skies. I do shows with Houston Rocket fans. All they want to do is say 1994, and I want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that. It's garbage, all right? It's garbage, right? You know what I mean? Like, listen, we were distracted by OJ. That's why we lost that shit.
That's right.
But no, I love doing the show. Anthony, I appreciate you stopping through, man. Give us a plug in the close, man.
Yeah, no, I can't wait for the rest of this season and what's to come, and I hope we're sitting here when we're doing our post-mortem and we're talking about how proud we were of this team and how excited we are for the future. And I think we will be excited for the future. Hopefully the way the season ends doesn't leave too much of a sting for us. Hopefully it's an ending that we could be at peace with. But it's going to be exciting these next 2-3 months. I got my Gotham Sports app because I can't get MSG any other way. So I got my Gotham Sports app. I'm ready to go. I could watch the Knicks. I could watch the Rangers. I could watch the Yankees. That'll be another show, Barry. We got to get
I know
blue skies going.
Yeah. I seriously want to do that because we got to talk our stuff with the Yankees. So
there's a lot.
What's your TV provider? You still Optimum?
I have YouTube TV Frontier.
Oh yeah. So I got Fubo TV, so I can watch the Knicks there.
I love football. Yeah, football's good.
Yeah, football's good. But Anthony, I appreciate it. Keep the Gotham Sports app live and popping. See, dirty motherfucker, man. Can't stand that. You know what I mean? You had to do that.
I love Hakeem though. I got to tip my hat. I love Hakeem.
He was him, man. no, I can't hate on him, but that starts just hit one shot, man.
Right?
Just,
6 for 25 or whatever it was. Oh God,
It was some crazy bad shooting. Yeah.
just one shot. God, man. Oh, game 6. That was the one we should have won, right, Joe? Game 6. That was the one. But thanks, Anthony. I appreciate you. Joe, give me a quick plug and we can close up shop.
No problem, man. Well, thank you guys for having me. It's always a good time. Appreciate it. Like you said, hope we get to do it again. I'm just positive vibes, man. Like you said, orange and blue skies. Let's get our guys back. Let's get healthy. Let's gel quick. Let's do what we came to do. Let's do what we should be doing. And then I think when we have our next chat, we're hopefully in a good spot. That's it, man. Thank you guys again. And always fun. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man. Listen, as long as we're doing the show and we're not saying, I wonder who we're going to get in the draft, right? We don't care about the draft. We're talking about right now, we in it to win.
That's for the Giants show.
Oh God, no. I can't. I gotta reach out to Adriana, Empire Sports, so see if she wants to do a draft show. But yeah, we'll talk about the Giants. Oh my God. Yeah, but I mean, it's orange and blue skies, man. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys. It's been so much fun. We're almost through the season. It's been fun so far. I think we're gonna be in store for a nice little run in the spring. Definitely a much better run than those stinking Rockets at their launch pad that blow up their whole launch pad. The garbage trash. Serious. What's up, Barry? What's up, Serious? But no, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Listen, if you love the show, share it with your friends. We're on all the socials. We're on TikTok. We're on Facebook. We're on I don't know. We're on Twitter. I don't know. Cares about Twitter, but I mean, we're on most of the socials. Holla at us. We got content going up. We're gonna do another show. Obviously, we'll have our weekly show on Tuesday. Then we have we'll do a WWE show after the Elimination Chamber. I know my daughter's gonna want to do that show with us, and we got content all the time. The launch pad will be back up pretty soon. They're gonna be doing their I can't.
Let me take his controls away.
I know. Think about it. I'm trying to give him a plug, and he's just being insubordinate. This is what I got to deal with. But no, I appreciate you guys. The Launchpad is a terrible show, but if you have to watch it, go ahead and watch it. Yeah, I see you. But no, I appreciate you guys. We out of here. Have a good night. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.